I'm your host, Jeremy, and with me this evening is Mike and Jason. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey.
Hello.
There we go. Well, this is another episode after we've taken a nice little month and a half break that we figured out. So this week's episode, we're going to have a Mexican blonde ale, is what I'm going to call it. It's actually called La Cerveza Blonde Ale by Cheboygan Brewing Company out of Cheboygan, Michigan.
This is our third in the Cheboygan Brewing Company
Oh, wow, it is.
adventure. Yeah.
It is. I think only make like 8.
The other two were good. I enjoyed those.
Yeah, we did the blueberry cream ale and the blood honey.
Blood orange.
Blood orange, yep.
Yeah. So, like I said, Cheboygan Brewery from Cheboygan, Michigan. This beer comes in at 4% ABV.
Here.
Yeah.
It's very, very
side.
light.
Then only 5 IBU, which means hardly any hop.
Which is surprising for a blonde, I think. Wow, that is super clear.
Yeah.
These are so fast.
Mine just
So
looks
blonde
yellow.
ales are typically some of the most easy, approachable beers to kind of drink because there's like no really dominant malt flavor. There is no. It's like you said, it's very appealing on the eyes. No strong hop characteristics.
It's a very clean smell.
Just beer. Like, I don't know how to describe it besides what I said.
It's a very clean smelling beer. Like there's no I don't want to call them off flavors, but there are no additional flavors that I'm picking up on.
No.
Smells like a beer.
Yeah, like I don't know how to explain it. I mean, it's not like a Budweiser. I always think like when I think of like just beer, I always think of like my great uncles or whatever who drink a lot of like Budweiser, and they always have that pungent beer smell on their breath or whatever. I mean, this is not like that, but
that was like one of our first episodes. Go back and rewatch them if you haven't seen them yet. But the I want to say it was the Smitwicks. The Smitwicks like just smelled like that old school beer smell, and it was so it didn't taste bad, but it was just like this smelled like an old can of beer, like that. Like I'm like when your dad would be like, "Here you go, try this, son," and you're like, "Ugh."
That's gross.
Yeah,
I do find it dry. I do find this one a little drier than other blonde ales I've had.
I'm waiting for the head to go. I gotta try it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does not. If you'd have handed me this, I would have never been able to pinpoint the blonde aspect of it. Although I feel like I always have. Yeah, no, it's blonde ale. Blonde. I feel like there might be like a red variant of blonde.
Ooh.
Oh, the
Why
more.
is it Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go for it.
Say, why is it a Cerveza?
So that part I'm not sure because it doesn't say anything about it being lagered.
Malted barley.
Yep. With flaked maize. Right? And it's crisp, dry characters. A light body with a noble hop. And noble hops are just European hops. And I kind of get that vegetal kind of flavor of the hops. So I do taste a little bit of hops in it, but I don't smell it.
So is it just because they used flaked maize?
Yeah.
I don't think so, right? Because like cream ales are usually made with like a flaked corn, basically. But again, it just could be something they called it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't necessarily say it's a Mexican beer.
Right.
It just
And
says
it's lager.
Cerveza.
So after
And
having
like,
a few,
who knows? I guess if we reach out to the company, they might tell us more specifically. But it could have been like the brewer that decided to make this beer may have had like a Mexican heritage. That's what I'm going with.
But I mean, I guess like you said earlier, if you translate it, it's the beer blonde ale.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've all had a few drinks and any thoughts rolling through your heads of like how many pals would
how many pals would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck pals? I think that if I were to go there, like go to Cheboygan Brewing Company, I probably would order one of these. Just because they have, like you said, 8 different beers. So
yeah,
and it's a 4%, so it's an easy drinker.
I would definitely have it. I would have it in a flight. I don't know that I would order one after the flight. I'm not a big fan of blondes, and I'm not a big fan of this because of that. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of blondes either.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs up myself. I find it very approachable. I find it very easy drinking. I can find myself like sitting outside on my deck, drinking, watching the sunset. I can see myself on a pontoon, cruising the lake, drinking this beer. It's only 4%.
Could you see yourself sitting in a bench or
Adirondack, wherever that's called?
Adirondack chair next to a palm
most
tree?
definitely. Yeah, exactly. I'm not that far south, so I don't have any palm trees by me that I know of. So I guess some pine trees maybe and some oak, but no, I again, it's a approachable beer. Like it's actually only being 4%. I maybe less ABV than even a Michelob Light, right?
Yeah, I think Bud Light and all those are usually like 4.2,
4.4, 4.5, something like that. Yeah, a Guinness is 4.2. So I mean, like this would be a good all day sipper. You could drink a lot of these and be all right. So I think that's why I give it a thumbs up myself. So yeah.
I think I give it a thumbs up because I would probably buy it again if it were like just wanting something different for the summer. Like you said, going to a party, want to like share one with somebody, I would get a 4-pack and keep the other 3 or whatever.
Yeah, so Michelob Light or Ultra is 4.2%.
Yep.
So, I think Guinness is actually lower than that. I think Guinness is only like 4%. Because I think Bud Light's 4.2 and Guinness is like 4 or something, but I don't really know. I don't remember.
It's been a little bit since we talked about that episode. Yeah, go watch that one too. St. Patty's Day.
I would not buy this again.
Okay.
Like I said, I would do a flight of it.
Yeah, do a flight of it. Yeah.
But like I said, I don't like blondes. Yeah, so it's a thumbs down from me. But what do I?
So with the blondes, is it because it's a very? I'm just gonna say just a beer. Is that what is kind of a turn off? There's no frills to it.
I guess, yeah. Maybe it's there's some flavor in the blondes that I've had that I don't like. And maybe I'm just picking that up. I don't know. There's some flavor in there. You said a lot of intelligent beer things that I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that's what I don't like about it.
Maybe it's the intelligent beer things that I'm unhappy about.
Well, give me an easy IPA.
there you go. But just more I drink it, the more like I'm getting different notes because it's not a typical blonde ale. Because the blonde ale is usually like it's hard to pick up anything, but like I'm definitely getting like vegetal hop flavor. Like
maybe that's the word you said that I didn't like.
That's fine. Vegetable. Eat your veggies, boys. Grow big and strong, be like Popeye.
Have either of you been?
Yes.
Have either of you been to Cheboygan? Not the brewery, but like the actual city.
Yeah. Many years ago.
If I have, 45. I can't recall. I wanted to go this summer and it just didn't happen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot that we were going to go.
I was on my way and had to cancel the trip.
Yeah, life happens.
Yeah, but they had, after I bought this, like the next week they came out with, I realized we've reviewed 3 of these things, 3 of their beers, but they came out with I think it was a raspberry variant of similar to the blood orange or the blood honey that we had. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pick that up. I'm like, no, we have already had 3 of them. We're doing 3 of them. We can't do another. But maybe, I don't know, maybe next season. I've heard Adam, one of our listeners, he had it after we were talking about it, I think, and he said it was delicious. So definitely want to add that to the list, but maybe not yet.
Yeah, there's that one. They have a Lighthouse Amber. That sounds pretty interesting. I would like to try that compared to other ambers I've had. And then they have an oatmeal cookie stout. And I really hope it's a pastry stout and not just where they just use a lot of oatmeal in it, and call it that. Because if it tastes like an oatmeal cream pie, that would be, oh gosh, that'd be delicious. Or it sounds delicious anyways.
So I had So one of the places I liked going to is not Revolution. Well, it is Revolution, but it's Hailstorm, and they have a variant of their Vlad. It's like their barrel aged series that's called Oatmeal Cookie. It's an oatmeal cookie stout, but it doesn't taste as oat-y as I was expecting it to. It tastes more like raisins. So I think I like it because of that, but was like skeptical at first. Like I was like going to eat it like it was going to be a cream ale and like taste. I don't know what I was expecting it to taste like, but I don't get any of the oat, and I get mostly the raisin flavor, which is a common. It's almost like a common side effect of brewing or barrel aging. The barrel aging process will a lot of times take any kind of fruit and make it taste raisiny, or any of the stuff and taste raisiny. So I'm like, it makes me think like it didn't turn out like they were expecting, so they renamed it like mid, like, I get raisins, let's call it, because it was supposed to be like oatmeal something or other, and then it's like it tastes like an oatmeal cookie now because of the raisins. So I'm like, did they just?
So was it not creamy at all?
No. I have one. When we do a live, when you come up to Michigan, we'll do a live one and do some of the like big bottles.
Or we can go there, or you guys can come here.
Yeah, right. One of those things will happen.
We can go to Hailstorm. All of
That's
us.
what I thought you meant.
Okay, there's options. That's what you're saying.
But I have a bunch of big bottles of stuff that it's going to be too difficult to. Because there's no way I'm going to open it and drink a full 16 to 22 ounces of 17% beer.
Well, I really believe you can.
Well, I did like last weekend or 2 weekends ago.
So like you're fine. You already got practice.
Yeah.
You know what happens. Speaking of which, so do you guys do anything interesting this past week or two since we've been gone for a while?
I went to the west side of the state of Michigan and went to like an Airbnb out at Saugatuck, and Saugatuck Brewing is out there. It was stressful. So we got there. It was a holiday weekend, and I don't normally take trips on holiday weekends, so I didn't realize that this was a thing. But like, there's like probably 3 or 4 main streets in that whole town that you can park down. And we were staying downtown, and the hotel had no parking, so we had to try and find parking.
That's weird.
On a holiday weekend, and it was like I drove for like 45 minutes. And didn't see anything, and I was just like, I'm going home. Like, we drove 3 hours to get here. I'm just gonna drive straight home. We actually parked a half hour walk away in the next town, and just walked across the bridge and came over. And then eventually at night we just reparked our car. But that was stressful. But I did go to we did a lot of like bar hopping and stuff, and I did mostly bourbon tasting. There was like a place called like the Cottage that I thought was somebody's house, and then like we went into it, it's like, oh, this is like a private venue, but you can come in if you want. Like, okay. Just like sat down and had some Weller's Reserve.
Private venue.
Reserve, yeah. Like they basically are only open like once in a while, and they do mostly like bachelor parties and that kind of stuff. So they like cater to like an event versus like an open to the public kind of deal. Which made me wonder if they actually had like a liquor license and stuff. Sorry.
I was going to tell you, Top Shelf by my house in Michigan, they had some Wellers. They had it sitting there, so I'm like, oh, this is probably some like new release stuff or just came in. And some guy was buying some, like, oh, I should buy some, but I don't know anything about whiskey, so I'm like, oh, I gotta text Mike, and then I didn't. So, well, now you know.
What color was it? Red or green?
They had 2 of them sitting there, so both.
The green one is like the just kind of normal one. The red one's the little bit more special. But yeah, the problem is a lot of times these, and then I feel like the beer kind of did it too, where like a company will make a name for themselves and then make everything like seem special. Like Bourbon County for a beer version of that did that with, or not Bourbon County, Goose Island did that with Bourbon County, and then they got so popular they just started like mass producing it, and then the mass produced versions of it are now just sitting on shelves for years, fortunately, unlike our beer last week, it's okay to sit on a shelf for a year when it's a barrel aged beer because they don't necessarily get better with age, but they change.
This one's from this year. Some do.
Go check that.
I was just talking to my girlfriend about that. Like some beers do get better with age. Barrel aged do. But yeah, the Shandy didn't.
The tying this all back together, the Modelo that I had was from like 2022, and that tasted delightful. I think it just knocked down any of the like off flavors a little bit and just kind of made it just mellow.
So how about you, Jason? Do you get anything?
So last weekend, I went to the Duran Duran concert.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Hungry
like the wolf?
Hungry like the wolf. It was awesome. A lot more fun than I thought it'd be. I'll say that, and you'll probably hear some comments from the peanut gallery. But
were you singing?
No, I didn't know it. Like I knew the songs that were popular, but I didn't like. I was dancing.
Okay.
Bastille, I believe. Yeah, Bastille opened for them, which is an English band that actually, once I like I didn't recognize the band, but once I listened to their music, I'm like, oh, I actually like this band. So that was actually great to see. But here's the thing, tying into the podcast. Guess how much a 24-ounce can of Coors was? Coors is my go-to drink. How much?
$12.
No.
$20.
Too high, too low?
You were too low. Mike is now too high. It was $18 for a 24-ounce.
For one of these cans? Or no, a big can.
It was a big 24-ounce. So this is what, 16 pint?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, so $18. That was
the best beer you've ever had, right?
I remember going to a concert and back, I don't even know how many years ago now, you were allowed to smoke in bars. For all your young listeners, you may not even have ever experienced this. Well, it was terrible. So I used to have a smoking jacket that I would wear to bars because otherwise I would just smell completely terrible. Well, it was my high school, one of the jackets I wore in high school. I went to high school a long time ago and everything was baggy, so it still fits my fat ass, but it had 2 pockets in it and I could just slut one of those giant beers into that pocket and everyone was like, that's amazing, because they're all holding it, their hands are freezing. They were breast pockets in this old jacket that I had, and it would just slide. Ooh, it might be right here.
I swear he's saying slut.
He might. Okay, he has this one jacket that he'd come to work and he would just start pulling stuff out. It had pockets that went up all the way to your chest.
Yeah. So I was I don't know, you guys can't see it, but I would just slide my beer in there and people are like, that's freaking brilliant. But this is my high school jacket and it's still enormous on me. So can you imagine this on a 190 pound version of me? Wow, that's hot. Sorry. I derailed the conversation big time, but that was so proud of that.
Fine. That is interesting.
How about you, Jeremy? What did you do this past weekend?
So, last weekend. Oh, I went out and saw my youngest son at college for the day. Kind of took him out. We dropped off some stuff to him. Then we took him out for lunch and stuff like that. And then I had a homebrew meeting on this past Wednesday. It was their Oktoberfest. So we sat around and drank some Oktoberfest beers, and only one person actually made an Oktoberfest. He actually brewed it properly. He brewed it back in March, because Marzen means March in German, from what I understand, and they let it sit in caves and do all that kind of stuff. We'll have a conversation on Oktoberfest beers here shortly, so we'll go
spoiler alert.
That. Spoiler alert. I brought
too late for them at this point.
Right. I brought my golden ale with me. Everyone seemed to really like that, so which was always good to hear. They just didn't taste any off flavors, which is good as well. And then one gentleman showed up. I've seen a long time. Steve. Steve was one of the original founders of this group back in 1995. He showed up. He only shows up every 4 or 5 months or so. And he brought an ABC beer, which is apple butter cider. And we can get into that sometime in the future, but it's a very delightful beverage. So it's made with apple butter The beer kind of mixed together. You let it ferment for like multiple months, like 4 or 5 months or whatever. Well, his was from 2007.
That's crazy.
Speaking of aging beers,
yeah. You told me this. That's nuts.
It was, oh my god, it was so good, so good. So he only brings these
that beer could legally drive.
So it's 21%.
Oh, and legally drink.
Yeah, 21%, and it's like, so we like passed the beer all around. You know, you only pour just a little bit because you want to share with everybody, and like no one else was drinking it. There was like that much left. And I'm like, I'm just gonna Bogart this. All right, it's on mine. So I just stepped on it all night for like the rest of the evening. It is so good. So I asked Steve, I was like, how many more of these you got left? It's like I have like about 8 or so. It's like, all right, so I know I can have potentially 8 more times of trying this before they're all gone. One day I like to attempt to do this, but I need more equipment. I just need another fermenter so I can let it sit.
Okay.
Be by itself. I only have one fermenter, so. What else did we do at the Homebrew Club? There was a couple. So we had a couple of German, we had a couple of German Marzen beers, and we also had some American Marzen beers, and they were all different. They were all over the board. Like some were very malty, some weren't. Some were like almost watered down. Some had a really weird, I don't know, some weird phenol flavor to it, which phenol flavors can be all sorts of different things. But I don't know. It was pretty interesting. It was a good time though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that when you sent that, I think it was the other day when you sent that message about that beer, I'm like, well, I have questions. Like that's an old beer to be sitting there. Are they in bottles or like how is it?
They're all bottle conditioned. Yep.
I would say, could you imagine trying that? I mean, I do have some of your other beers still. Jason, did I give you more than one of those? The oatmeal, or not the oatmeal, the one that Jeremy made? Yeah,
the barrel aged and the honey. Yeah, I have one of each of those.
Okay. Because I'm like, I feel like that's changed in just like 4 months or whatever, 6 months. And I'm like, holy crap. It's
16 years old. I was like, man, I wish you guys lived down here because you were like, you would have poured just a splash, like going, this is heaven. This is what heaven tastes like.
That happened to like Jason and I when we were sitting at during Dark Lord Day. We were just like sitting at there's a brewery called Brothership, and their beer was just kind of meh. No offense, Brothership. The stuff they had on tap. I'm sure that they have other stuff that's been sitting around and they're doing stuff with it, but the stuff they had on tap, I was just meh about. And then we asked about like this beer, this like bottle that they had opened. And
something. They kept passing something. We're like, hey,
what is that? And then they like let us try it, and it was the best beer I had all night, and probably the entire trip.
It might have been the whole trip. And that was one that was brewed at it was a collab with that brewery you wanted to check out, the one you talked about last episode, right? Nope, you didn't talk about them.
Hailstorm? Who did I talk about?
No, that was this episode.
Well, what was the collab with?
I don't remember. I can't remember which brewery that was.
You really wanted to check it out, and we're like, oh, we can take an Uber there, and we're like, oh, that's 50 minutes away, and we have stuff to do.
I think it was something of the W, like Whiskey Hill or something like that.
Yes. Yep. That's it.
Yeah, I still have not gone there and still want to. I think my next trip to Chicago is going to be the north side of Chicago and just stay up there, and then I'd like not try and do everything. Because I feel like when I try and do everything, I drink too much at each place. And then by the 5th place, I'm like, cool, well, I've had 5 like 9-ounce, 14 to 17% beers and no food, because none of these breweries have food.
Right.
Or they have like terrible like peanuts that are like, I don't know.
Isn't your next shift's going to be Fobab, though? Are you guys not doing that?
Not going to Fobab.
Oh.
Yep. This is the first year since, COVID, but the other one I've decided not to go to Fobab. It's too much. I'm not even sure if I'm going to go to Dark Lord Day next year. I have not decided.
They just released the date.
I saw
19th or something.
Yeah, so you'll be able to get tickets for Dark Lord Day on like March 17th or something. I don't remember now. I don't know. It's a lot. It's just too much bouncing around and too much drinking, and then I have so many. So when we're they're remodeling our basement or modeling our basement, not remodeling. Building? What the hell is the whatever?
Instructions going on in the basement.
Refinishing. I don't know. Furnishing
So we have like all our beer in our like closet in our bedroom, and it's grown, and we can't get to anything, so we just keep stacking shit on top of stuff. And I'm like, cool. Well, I don't know what to do with this now, and so I'm like, we have so much crap. I can't go down there and get like any more beer. No more beer.
That's what Jeremy was we were talking on Monday before you hopped on, and he's like, he has too much beer. I'm like, that's why I stopped buying beer.
Yeah.
I can't add anymore.
No.
Right.
So yeah, like I said, my closet, I couldn't even tell you, 50, 60 bottles that are just visible. Then I have a whole tub full of like the blueberry honey ale, and then I'm about to brew another batch, so another 50 bottles of that.
Yeah, you're brewing 5 gallons of beer.
Not always, but
typically, okay. Yeah. It's a lot of beer.
I try to do 3. That's what I try to do, because that's like, I feel like it's a fair batch. But I know everyone likes the blueberry honey, so I try to make a lot of it. But since everybody likes it, even people down here are liking it, so I've given away so much that I don't have much to share with you guys. So now I need to brew another batch so I can share with you guys.
Yeah,
we'll come down there and do our. We'll do a brew together of your blueberry.
Heck yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be so much fun.
It would.
That would be a fun. That would be a fun live podcast
you're all
to do.
Washing dishes.
To like have like us recording, drinking a beer while brewing your beer. That'd be a fun podcast.
Yeah. Need extra hands. That's what I need.
Yeah. So I have 2 things really quick.
Go for it.
So Whiskey Hill Brewing and Brothership, they have brewed 2 beers together, and they're not either of the beers that Mike and I tried. They have Almighty Push, a triple New England IPA with Citra, Strata, and Solero hops, I guess. And then Universal Pull, a triple IPA, another one, with notes of peach and citrus of the Citra hop. And Mike and I did not try that.
I don't think it was a collab with them, honestly. I think it was a Whiskey Hill and somebody else collab, because the guy didn't seem like he knew what the hell it was. He's like, I don't know. But maybe it was.
The other thing is, Jeremy, what's your recipe for a La Cerveza blonde ale? I mean,
well, it's just a blonde ale. It's but I mean, I did find one, so I did kind of tweak it a little bit, so be kind of close to it. So we're going to use like 6.5 pounds of Pilsner malt, just as the base malt, and then 2 pounds of Vienna malt to kind of give a little more, I don't know, biscuity kind of flavor. 2 pounds of flake corn, because that's kind of what they use in this one. So then I just went with a traditional noble hop, Halatu, however you want to say it. Actually, there's Halatu. No, I think that's how you say it. So 2 ounces of that. So one ounce at 60 minutes just for bittering, and another 1 ounce at 5 minutes just to give a little bit of like an aroma on the nose kind of a thing. Here, I would just use a dry yeast. So I would use the W3470. But this is the catch. Now, not everybody has lagering equipment, but if you have lagering equipment, then go ahead, you can lager it. For myself, what I would do is I would ferment under pressure. And we've talked about this before, but basically what I do is I would take the wort, I'd put it into a corny keg. Then I have a spunning valve, so basically it will allow it to build up pressure to a certain point and then just release the gas. So mine sets like 12 psi. So that will suppress a lot of the off flavors that some lagers would have if they're fermented too hot. I've done a couple pseudo lagers that turn out pretty well, so I think that would work as a if you don't have the lagering equipment that you need for it.
Cool.
And then we have a few types that are that actually are cervezas. They're not blonde ales. So these are actual cervezas if anybody wants to try some.
Well, these are Mexican style lagers, though. I feel like this is slightly different than.
They are. So
they are cervezas.
But
yeah, I was looking at that too, because like after drinking this and after like seeing or having this episode, there's no. I would say that there's no similarity. So the ones that we had listed, because we thought there would be some sort of similarity, are Corona, Pacifico. I don't know what the
Takata is so good.
I don't think I've ever had that in Modelo. Like you could have Dos Equis and stuff too. I don't taste any similarity to any other Mexican style beers that I've had in this.
No, not. I agree.
Other than it's very light and crisp. And then some of the Mexican style beers that I've had, I don't. I feel like I need to add that lemon. If you want to know information about Mexican style beers, go to episode Mayo. I don't know which one it was. The one we did in
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, in May. But it was released in like probably June or July or something. Go back and look.
Right. But if you're interested in a couple blonde ales, like Victory makes a summer blonde ale, Soul Drifter by Mad Tree Brewing. That's another blonde ale that you could probably try. That's pretty popular. Then I think there's one that's called B.O.B. Orange Blonde Ale. Kind of it is flavor adjacent, but that's another blonde ale that just add a little bit of like citrus to it.
The one blonde, the only one I can ever remember, and I don't even know that I've ever had it, was the strawberry blonde from Ann Arbor Brewing. And I don't know that I've ever had it.
I'm like, I feel like strawberry blonde is what a lot of them have, but I think that's because of ABC. Ann Arbor Brewing Company's strawberry blonde. That's funny. I was like, I feel like there's a red name in it. But I feel like a lot of times it'll end up being a strawberry blonde or a blonde. But I don't like that either.
Yeah. So how does this taste now?
I'm still good with it.
Mine
the warmer it gets, I get more hoppy, I guess, more hop flavor.
Yep.
And that's why I think at the last few sips of it, I'm giving it a sideways one. I'm not going to.
I'm still thumbs up on it.
All right. So and then
I still would.
Okay, so it's 1.5 pals. So
no offense to the beer
pals.
or Cheboygan Brewing, but
it's just what you don't like, which is fine.
Yeah, I don't like blondes. Yeah,
because we're definitely going to get to a point where like we're all going to try something that's just going to be like, so. Mike already had one of those last season. Go watch that episode. Don't remember what it is, but watch that one.
It has something to do with an IPA. I think it's the I can't remember the
Two Hearted? It wasn't Two Hearted.
Yeah, Two Hearted.
Oh, it could have been Two Hearted. Yeah, yep. He's like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, Two Hearted was a rough one.
Well, on that note,
all right, don't forget to tip your waitress. Wait, no, that's not my line. Thanks for tuning in, and go have a pint with your pals.
Please drink responsibly.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord.
Yes, exactly.
The link's in the chat.
True. That could be. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.